Welcome back to the MMA Plug, presented to you by DenverSportsBetting.com on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio. We're about to go 3 rounds to put a bow on the show. We have the great and powerful Danny Bailey behind the glass. Danny, what do we have?
Nick Diaz has come out and said he is ready to get back into the octagon and wants to face someone like Israel Adesanya or Alex Pereira. What are your thoughts?
Nick Diaz is my all-time favorite fighter. There is zero chance in hell that they're putting him back in there right now against Izzy or Alex Pereira. Now, do I think that Nick can still go back in there and be a very competitive fighter? Certainly. I mean, he's one of the most gifted guys that's been around through his time, and then the way that Nick is able to put together combinations is always going to be a problem. But the question is how much of Nick is left at this point? He had some of the longest layoff. He was, unfortunately, a martyr for cannabis use. They tried to throw the books at him and close it on him. He spent more than 6 years away following that fight that Anderson Silva fought for steroids and got a shorter suspension for. But, again, I think that we need to see Nick back in there at least to get his feet wet or get him back rolling again against someone who it's going to be a competitive fight. Someone more along the vein of that Robbie Lawler fight that we saw before that just didn't end up going his way. Nick had injuries coming into the fight, and it didn't work out for him, but let's see something like that. Let's get him back in there in that sort of competitive realm.
Kevin Lee has been re-signed to the UFC. Where does he fit into all of this?
I see what you did right there, Danny. Where does Kevin Lee fit into all of this? I don't see Kevin Lee having another title run. Kevin Lee contested for that interim title against Tony Ferguson some years back, but he's certainly fallen on hard times. Kevin Lee, ever since his original head coach passed away, he's never been the same fighter. He also has had to deal with his own substance abuse issues, and I don't know where that puts him in the process. He's moved around to a couple of different camps. His last fight was a win, but it was also a decision win against Diego Sanchez, and it's no disrespect to Diego, but it was Diego. I don't know any other way to say it for you right there, folks. So at best, I see Kevin Lee being a gatekeeper type of role or a name that they can build some people off of.
The UFC used last weekend's event to film scenes from the Roadhouse reboot. Does this have you more excited about the new film?
Why the hell did you even call it Roadhouse? Why? That wasn't a part of the original movie. This just goes back to my original adage. If you're taking something that was a golden classic and you're just taking a steaming Willie right all over it. It's just like when they remade Point Break. The Point Break reboot was awful. It was one of the worst pieces of cinema that we've seen in modern history. I don't know what the full realm of things is going to be with Dalton being a UFC fighter coming into this movie, and where does Conor fit into all of that mix? Why didn't you just call it something different? Run with the same overall concept or the template or the skeleton of the film, if you will, but call it something different. Dalton, the Dalton from Roadhouse, was not a mixed martial arts fighter. So why is that a part of the reboot? That is absolutely mind-blowing to me that they created this angle to it. I hate it. Just like that, though,
They need to leave these Patrick Swayze movies alone.
Stop touch. Yeah, good point. Good point. Both Point Break and this. 2 Patrick Swayze classics. And you're going to go and mess them up like that? That mullet was majestic, folks. Why do you got to go and tarnish it? Tarnish the great name of Patrick Swayze. Just like that, though, folks, we are all out of time. If you want to give us some support here at the MMA Plug, go ahead and hit www.mmatees.shop. Pick up some merch. It's going to benefit any of the fighters that you see featured there, as well as us here at the MMA Plug.
Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That helps us continue to produce this original MMA content and bring it for you every single week. Tune in to the MMA Plug presented by DenverSportsBetting.com on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio on Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m.
or live stream at DenverSportsBetting.com/radio.